Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Honkai Star Rail reaction. Today we have solo maxing. I also love that Genetic Savior, who was the one that requested this, has kind of become the harshit of this title. For those who don't know what I'm talking about there, harshit in the comments of the Genshin videos is always the one to comment the ones that get picked. It's just a thing that happens. Once in a while there is somebody else, but it seems to be so consistently harshit. And I think that just by coincidence, Genetic Savior has become that for this community, so it's just kind of funny to me. Either way though, we're gonna hear what this level 999 song is all about, and without further ado, let's go!
Wait, let me hit it.
Okay. Ooh. Oh, that's all over the place. God, he was not kidding when he said Chaos Gremlin in the comment, was he? What? What? What am I listening to? You go ahead and throw the Konami code in there. Why not, you know? This is so unserious. It really is. Ooh. The references are so goofy. Ooh. Ooh. I love this hook. The song is like the perfect level of nonsense. And that works so well for that Chaos Gremlin mention. Like, I didn't know who this was going in, but now I've got a much better idea, and that is the point after all, right? So I think a huge boon to me understanding this song is the fact that I now know what elation is. I didn't know that until recently when I covered another song, and I'm like, why the hell does it sound like this? Why does it sound like it's going somewhere nonsensical? And now I know that that's kind of par for the course for this area and what they're doing in this part of the game. So it's like, okay, now it kind of tracks. Like all the weird, wacky visual shit going on here, why they're doing whatever cartoony bullshit, it totally tracks now. I was trying to apply it to what I knew of Honkai Star Rail, which to my knowledge up to that point was not this. I had no clue why this sort of thing would exist in the world and why they were going this direction. I honestly believe that the devs were just kind of doing nonsense to keep up with like TikTok brain rot, basically. I did not really expect there to be much other reasoning behind it, but no, there's like a whole plot reason. And now songs like this track as well, not just the visuals, but the way they're designed, which is frankly nonsensical in their own right. They're still following a general structure as far as the ideas that go into these songs, but the reason that they don't feel like they're following any of them is purely due to the sound design of each one. It sounds like a bunch of different ideas being pooled into one singular guess of what a song would be like, you know, just kind of nonsensical shit going on around. Especially a lot of the chiptune-y stuff is just kind of blasting and dancing around, very weird, you know, stuff that you would not really hear in any other sort of genre outside of like rhythm games, stuff that's designed to surprise the player and not necessarily make the best song ever, more of a challenge on the rhythmic end. This song kind of does all that stuff. I would not be shocked if the producers of these songs were like also rhythm game producers that they just hired in for this sort of thing, or at very least use that community as a heavy influence because of all the random stuff. But also as a result of that, the musical theory side of stuff becomes very smudgy. It's hard to explain why certain things work versus not when the song itself is kind of fighting against the concept of musical theory and why things are happening in such a weird way, because I can't like line that up with what I could tell you as far as like, here's the chords, here's the progression, here's why things sound this way, because none of that logic exists with this. And that's all fine and good. I love hearing stuff like this. It's wild, but really fun to hear, but it also makes this part of the video very difficult to do, because I can't really explain to you in a true fashion why any of this is happening when I'm not even sure if the producers themselves are supposed to know. What I will give you are some of the basic chords I could find kind of around this idea. So for most of it, you're getting either a B minor or a B, and it's kind of going around this C sharp, and that's largely like what everything is cycling around. That's a thing I mentioned a lot with electronic music. They tend to fit with just one or two chords. That's basically everything, especially on drops. They just kind of land on one note and they just sit with that. And that's all fine and good because, again, the design is more of the focus for these sorts of songs, not necessarily the chord progression or why they're doing it. It's not supposed to be. However, this song does get to that part later on in the song when we have this like D, A, B, and I think it was a G. Yeah, so there we go. We have that sort of progression. And that's a very like standard progression. That's a 4-chord standard progression, but it also does move around to other things. Like I'm pretty sure that the E is in there as well. So we'd get like D and then A and then E, you know, like lift up to it and probably go back down to the B, and just having that very boosted, boastful progression compared to going down to the G, which settles it and kind of allows the song to come to a rest when you don't want to do that. Lifting it up to where we were on the E kind of leaves the energy high. You can still go up from there. Ending on that B is a lot more of like an open end, another page to turn in the book, so to speak. So there's a lot going on with this song that is almost impossible to really qualify and break down into music theory and why things are the way they are. But things like that, which suddenly add structure. You probably noticed when I was reacting to the song, I was like, oh, because I'm like, there's something that my ears can grab a hold of and be like, aha, I have it. Now I can explain this to people. I couldn't do that with the prior part, and that always does worry me, as fun as it is to hear, because I don't want to lack things to explain to you and teach you as far as music theory goes. But when it comes down to the sound design stuff, there's plenty of that here, and it is so fun to listen to, but it mostly just comes down to being experimental, playing around with these sounds. A lot of these producers know what they're doing and why they're doing it, and that just comes with experience, taking all of this knowledge that they've grown over the years, these random things that they've tried, and applying it to songs and making firmer ideas of when and where to place things. Even if they don't seem to make sense, it's because they know where to place them that it ends up making sense in the long run. And that sentiment really plays into a statement that I love to bring up, which is you're supposed to break the rules, but you need to know which rules to break before you break them. You need to know the rules before you break them. Otherwise, you're going to be making nonsense and it's going to make no sense. In this case, there's calculated nonsense. They know what they're doing. They know what sound design stuff they're doing. They know what chiptune stuff works with each other, how to apply that, what synths end up working in this context, while still making some sort of a degree of direction for the song to go. So when they bring in that more structured section later on, you don't just go, where did that come from? It's more like oh, there it is. It's way more sensible when you know what you're doing, so you can play around with the ideas. And you're supposed to break these rules, but you need to know the rules before you break them. So I think that kind of boils down everything I can say about this song. Really fun, weird and wild, but that seems to be exactly what this song is supposed to be and what this part of the game is trying to lean into. So as strange as it is, it's still an absolute blast, and this sort of like wild visual stuff is also really fun to talk about. I might do a video on this animation at some point, but that'll be months away yet, so don't get your hype too high, but that would be fun to talk about. Just the animation in here and what they were doing, certain transitions, certain choices, so many references as well. Just an absolute blast, a love letter to video games especially, but I'll digress about that. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to something else, by all means, drop it in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!